Okay, so that was Blackboard. You could read this on your own, pause it, take a look at it. I don't think I need to go through it all again, but everything is there. The main thing is make sure you go to Inbox Blackboard. Man, that's the best place, the only place for us to communicate, at least on a very timely fashion. Okay. The course schedule. So again, it depends on the semester that you're in. The way I've arranged it is that there wouldn't be any tests or assignments that are due on holidays where CCM is closed, including the holiday breaks. That doesn't mean that you can't submit something, but I would never have anything due during the holiday breaks, like spring break and Thanksgiving break, um, and holidays in which the CCM is closed, like Labor Day, that kind of thing. I won't put any days there or anything due those days. However, I will have some due dates on Saturdays or Sundays, but it wouldn't be a holiday. Okay. Um, and I just want to let you know that I will extend it after a holiday or break, the due date. In other words, if it would be due on a holiday, you could bet it's going to be the next day. Um, for a holiday break, it might be 2 days after. Okay, so normally you would have, let's say, lecture quizzes, which I'll talk about, but lecture quizzes that are you have 48 hours to do it, 2 days to do it. If it falls on the due date, usually falls on a certain holiday, then you have 3 days because it'll be due the following day. Okay, so that's what I want to say. I also want to mention too that on page 15 of my syllabus, it could be 14 or 16. It's a very colorful page. It's the lecture and lab course schedule. Basically, what you have there is the same thing as the course calendar, except it's all on one page. Doesn't have that many details as much as the course calendar, of course. But if you want to see it all on one page, week by week, you could see it there. Whereas the course calendar is, well, it's month by month, but you could actually see it day by day also. Okay, so do look at that. It's all color coded. It's another way of seeing your schedule. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the syllabus quiz that I've been telling you about. Again, after you do this video discussion on the syllabus, you'll want to take the syllabus quiz. Okay, it's called a practice syllabus quiz. You'll see it on the smarter proctoring that we use. It'll be called practice. It's not really a practice one because it is mandatory for you to take it. It's worth 1% of your grade. But I had to put something there where it would be locked into, or at least integrated into, the smarter proctoring system. And that'll give you an opportunity for you to build your account with smarter proctoring. Okay, so what it'll be is 10 multiple choice questions. All right, I'm going to give you 30 minutes. Once you start the syllabus quiz, you'll have 30 minutes. However, as I mentioned to you before, print out the syllabus quiz preview. It's going to be all the questions that'll be there. Circle all your answers on there. Take your time, go through this video discussion, go through the syllabus itself, circle all the correct answers you feel are correct. And then when you want to do this syllabus quiz and put it into the syllabus quiz, then all you're going to do is just transfer your answers from the paper onto into the quiz itself in Blackboard. So that shouldn't take long. You're just transferring. However, the questions are shuffled as well as the choices are shuffled, but they're the same 10 questions. Okay. Answers are in my syllabus and video lecture. As I mentioned to you, it's also worth 1% of your final grade. It opens on day one. So my suggestion is to get it done. Put that lovely X in that checkbox and have it done on day one or day two. Okay, because it's actually due on day two in most cases. Depends on the semester, of course. And it's there to, once you set up the smarter proctoring account, once you do all the procedure to do that, you don't have to do it ever again for this semester, as long as you're using the same computer. If your computer breaks down during the semester and you use your mother's or your father's or friend's computer, then you're going to have to go through the process again, which is not a big thing, but you have to go through that. It stays with the computer, not with you. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the lecture tests. So we have lecture exams. There's actually 3 component exams. There'll be 75 to 80 questions, and you'll have 75 minutes to do each one. It usually opens on a midnight on a certain day, and then closes depending on the semester. If you're in an accelerated course, 5, 7 weeks, it'll close 2 days later. If you're in a long, like a 10-week or a 15-week, I'll give you a week to do it. All right, so roughly. So it depends. But again, look at the course calendar. You'll see everything right there, and you can see how it is, and you'll be getting my emails. And no lecture exam can be dropped. We also have one comprehensive exam that the Department of Biology actually puts together. It's comprehensive, and it's 80 multiple choice questions. Give you 75 minutes to do it. Again, it's going to open on a certain day at midnight and close either 2 days later or 6 days later, depending on what semester you're in, at 5 o'clock. Okay. And these 4 exams will be all done being proctored by Smarter Proctoring. Okay. You also have the lecture quizzes. Now, there's going to be 10 quizzes. I'm going to give you 14 minutes for each one. I do drop the lowest graded lecture quiz. This is really to encourage you to be like I get emails saying, where should I be in this course? Am I behind? Am I ahead? So basically, if I have I have these 10 lecture quizzes, it's usually done after each chapter. And if it's supposed to be due, let's say cardiology is supposed to be due on Friday, you could bet that that's the time that you should be done with cardiology, right? So it makes you not fall behind and get that so-called snowball getting bigger and bigger, and it's just too overwhelming for you to take on. Just watch my video lectures and the PowerPoints. All the quizzes are based off of that. We're applying the material that's taught in there. You will have 48 hours. That doesn't matter what semester you're in, unless, of course, as I mentioned, a holiday falls in there. But every semester, whether it's 5 weeks or 15 weeks, you'll have 2 days to do it. It opens 8 a.m. on a certain day, and then closes 2 days later at 8 a.m. Again, because you're allowed to drop the lowest graded lecture quiz, there is no makeups for any of these. Okay. I also want to mention with the lecture quizzes, only the lecture quizzes, you can use a 3x5-inch index card to help you along with it. Anything could be written on it or drawn on it, front or back. Right? I know I'm not going to be monitoring this, but you can't have anything Xerox or scanned. I use this same task with my live classes, and they would bring in a 3x5 card, and they could write anything on it. It's only for these lecture quizzes. This will be your first time being tested on this material, and maybe you don't have certain things memorized. I would imagine you would have the big concepts understood by then, but sometimes there's a list of things and you haven't gotten that really into your brain, but you understand the concept. So it's really for that kind of thing, and it helps you to connect the dots and get your thoughts together and make sure you know the highlights. That's pretty much what it does. You're only allowed to use one card, only used again for lecture quizzes. If you use it for any other tests, needless to say, we would consider that cheating. So you could only use them for these lecture quizzes. It's difficult to monitor, but just be mindful that you won't have these cards for any of the major exams that'll be proctored. So train yourself is what I'm saying, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the laboratory tests. I think all of you are familiar with practical exams. If you took A&P1, in person. I'm sure you did the calisthenics of moving around throughout the whole laboratory, station to station, going through that. If you had it online, you almost had like a PowerPoint tests that would have these images on there, and you go question to question and so forth. So we do have this. I'm going to have the same format. There's like a PowerPoint or so many questions, and you'll see a lot of pictures on these. So we have two practical exams. I know A&P1 had three, but there's only two practical exams for A&P2. There's 50 to 60 questions, and I'm going to give you 60 minutes to do each one. It's mainly fill in the blank or short answers. When I say short answer, you could probably put a few words there, a sentence, maybe two sentences, but I'm looking for keywords. This is not an English course. I am not wanting any kind of paragraph or long essays. Just get right to the point kind of thing. It'll open on a certain day at midnight and close on a certain other day at 5 p.m. Again, usually if it's an accelerated course, 2 days later, and if not, then it's like a week later. You won't be able to drop any of the practical exams either. I will allow scrap paper to be used for these if you want. You're going to have to show the blank paper, both sides, before the exam begins. It's this in A&P2. There's a little bit more calculations as opposed to rote memory of bones and muscles and whatnot. Here, you're going to have to do some calculations on blood pressure and so forth. It must be shown before and after each exam. Okay, and the paper must be destroyed, and it has to be recorded that you video recorded that you did destroy it, rip it up, that kind of thing. Since there is calculations over here, a calculator may be needed, but don't worry about using a smartphone. Like I said, you're not allowed to use smartphones or calculators. So one will be provided in the lab exam itself when you use proctoring or smarter proctoring. So one will just appear on the screen itself. And both of these practical exams will be proctored by, not proctored you, but it will be proctored by the smarter proctoring. Okay. Now, normally in a live class, I put bonus questions on every exam. I do believe that, students will blank on a certain question, and I'll put a few more questions on there. However, Blackboard is not set up that way. I couldn't figure out how to come up with a formula to do that. So I came up with this instead. Since there's no bonuses on any lecture exams, I have this bonus quiz. It'll be one quiz. You'll have 60 questions, and I'll give you 55 minutes to do it. Roughly, you're going to have about 5 days or so to take it, but you have to take it in one sitting. So you'll have 5 days, and once you hit begin exam or quiz, then you're going to have 55 minutes. The clock starts then, okay? It occurs just before the final exam. It's comprehensive. So actually, think of this as a mini final exam. It's going to cover the same material, everything from day one to day whatever, and it is comprehensive. So this will help you to figure out what your weaknesses and what your strengths are, okay? Claiming all 60 points will increase each of your 3 lecture exams, not the final, by 2%. So I have it on a scale. If you get 30 points or 30 questions correct, that's half. So you'll get 1% for each one of those lecture exams. This does not include the final exam or any other exam for that matter. So this is just for those 3 component lecture exams, I guess we'll call it. It doesn't hurt your grade in any way. If you don't do it at all, you're just go into the final exam with that grade that you have. It's not going to hurt it. It's not going to, it can only help it, because that's all it can do. So like I said, it's a good opportunity to see what your strengths are and weaknesses just before the final, so you could brush up on those things. I am going to give you 2 attempts to do it. And of the 2, I will pick the best grade of the 2, and that's the one I'll use, okay? Keep in mind, if you do this 2 times, chances are, big chances, you're not going to get the same questions because they come out of a pool of questions that I created. Okay. And since you have 5 days to do this, you can take it 2 times. The bonus quiz is not made, can't be made up. Okay, so no exceptions to that.